Alright, well, it turns out that I am a little early for my bus because the 7 o'clock run, there's a 7:50 and then there's a 7:45, and after that the route runs at 45 after the hour rather than at 15, and I certainly would not have wanted to go in a whole hour and a half early, but it's kind of bothersome because what it means is I'm likely to show up at least technically late because the quarter till run tends to get to the mall at about 5 after, and usually because it leaves a little later than it's really supposed to leave the transit center according to the schedule, and so I might be actually late as well, and I've done that twice this month already due to the bus. Anyway, so I have made a couple of previous attempts at this that have wound up with me chasing my tail, and it may end up being very much the same this time. I have made some notes in the hopes of being able to avoid chasing my tail, but you never know just how that's going to work out. I don't even know how visible this is going to be. I can see it on the little flip out screen of my camera, but that's a backlit LCD, not a monitor, so don't know. We'll find out. The subject, as it was, there was some reference made to it in, well, once again, that's not the bus I'm listening for. Just have to check these things. A little bit of paranoia in the right situations can save you a bit of trouble. Note that. Myth. Some kind of side reference made to it in one of Mick's salons or in some of the commentary that followed after the Hey You piece, wherever it was, caught my attention. I was like, I need to talk about that because it's been something, you know, it's not something that has just popped up. It's something I've been thinking about for a while now. Don't have a whole lot of it, if any of it, actually down on paper. I think I've typed up a few things, but I'm not going to go looking, and I don't know. It might be on one of my crashed hard drives that I'm hanging on to just in the event that someday I might be enough of a multi-millionaire that I can afford to have them torn apart and reassembled in a manner that makes them readable at least long enough to get off the data that's on them. Until which time I have to rely on whatever's in my head or what I have down on paper, etc., etc. I do digress. Myth, by which I mean not, for the most part, imaginary or illusionary or confabulation stories. Granted, some of them are rather tall tales, but the stories that we tell ourselves about who we are, the stories we tell other people about who we are, the stories we tell ourselves about who other people are and how the rest of the world is and how it interacts with us and how we interact with it. And quite unfortunately, in my opinion, we are very much discouraged by our societal framework from taking a look at any of this, taking a look at how it's put together, taking a look at what drives it, because our society at this point anyway is set up so that looking at these things quote-unquote too closely is detrimental to the status quo. People start asking, well, you know, were the people who died when the two planes crashed into the Twin Towers really heroes? I know I'm offending some people right now already, even before I deliver my conclusion, just asking the question. Anybody who's already offended might as well go somewhere else right now, because I'm just going to piss you off even further. People who died in the towers weren't heroes. They weren't even martyrs. They did not die for a cause. They did not sacrifice themselves. Were their deaths unfortunate? Yes, I'm not arguing that point. And they happened because the United States makes enemies abroad and tells its own people nothing about the kind of danger they're putting them in. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about looking at the roots of the myth being dangerous to the status quo. That part isn't even in my script. We tell ourselves things, and we don't always look at where they come from. We don't always look at who they come from. And we are very much encouraged in this society to let all of the information flow into us from outside ourselves. Don't question it. Don't rock the boat. And it's why we're in the situation we are in. That again is not really my reason for addressing this. I wanted to talk more about how you craft your myth. What do you really believe about who you are? The problems that occur when there's a discrepancy between what you tell the rest of the world you are and what you tell yourself that you are. The problems that happen when the story you tell the rest of the world about who you are with your words is different from the story that you tell the rest of the world about what you are through your actions. And I suppose that ties into this a bit, what I've already said, because part of our problem overseas is that we say that we're for this and that and the other thing, and then we turn around and we do maybe not diametrically the opposite, but we do something that tells the rest of the world that we are talking out of our asses, that the freedoms and the privileges that we describe in our viewpoint are really only for us, and the rest of the world is for us to walk on. I really didn't mean to get all political activist do this. I was going to be more abstract intellectual, but that's where it went. I guess for at least a moment I'm going to let it stand as how it is. There's my thoughts for you today. Hope you have some kind of fun with them. By fun, I don't necessarily mean liking. I just mean that you understand and appreciate, and that I don't have to explain to you 5 million times before it gets through your head that there's some truth to it. Some part of it I might be deluded, who knows, but there's some truth in there.